Hi, good evening and welcome to today's session. I am Ashwata and I'm going to be demonstrating chicken cutlet. So here are the ingredients that you will be requiring for today's session. You have boiled potatoes, ginger garlic paste, chopped tomatoes, onion, sambar powder, coriander powder, cumin powder, turmeric powder, black pepper powder, garam masala, chili powder, salt, 1 egg, 500 grams of chicken, breadcrumbs, oil and some water. So first, I'm going to be mashing the potato. You can either mash it with a masher or some spoon or fork. So while I do this, I'm going to be sharing my journey with the academy and simultaneously wait for a few more people to join. So during my college days, I had an interest in baking. Of course, I didn't know the professional way of baking. I just knew the YouTube baking. So I didn't know the techniques behind it, the science behind each technique. So after my college, I wanted to know more about the hospitality industry, and that's when I came across APCA. So I started with the culinary thinking that by the end of 9 months, I'll be able to have a good knowledge in both cooking as well as baking. So during my initial days, or even before I started the academy, I didn't think that I would be taking this as a career. I thought I was just there to have a good knowledge about food. But later, as days passed, I for sure knew that this was my destiny, because the fact that interested me so much is that you learn every day, you learn something new, and you have to move around. So when you move around, when you do stuffs, you're energized, and that keeps you going, which I really liked, because I'm a person who don't like to sit in one place, look at the PC and work for hours. So then I knew I was on the right track. So after I completed my intermediate in culinary, I decided to do my pastry because I wanted to know how pastry was done from basic, even though culinary had 20% of pastry in it. So that's when I decided I should do pastry as well and have a knowledge on both. So then I completed my 9-month program in culinary and joined the academy back for my 9-month program in pastry. So now I have 1 more month left, and I've been in the academy for good 2 years now. And for a person who thought this wouldn't be her career, here I am doing my 3rd live demo, and I feel really happy and privileged. And I have only the chefs and the academy to thank. So the potato is mashed properly now. So I'm going to leave this aside. So as you can see, it's properly mashed. Make sure there are no lumps and keep it aside. Now let's start with the main cooking. On a medium flame, add 3 tablespoons of oil. So for the people those who want to know the exact amount of ingredients that I'm using for today's recipe, please go back to the academy's page, check for their story, the ingredients list is put up there. You can either follow the same that is given, or go ahead and adjust according to your requirement. So I've poured the oil over here. there are two ways to check if your oil is hot. One, using a wooden spoon like I have, and the other is to check by rotating your pan. So the first one I'll show you. If your oil is hot, once you place your wooden spoon, you will see that the oil will start bubbling around the spoon. Now you can see that the oil is little hot, and so you can see the little bubbling around the spoon. So now you know that your oil is hot. And another way is to rotate your pan and check. So the oil consistency would have moved to the water consistency. See, as you see, it's really flowy, which will not be the same when you have cold oil. So now the oil is bubbling once I placed the spoon. I'm going to be adding onions. I have 2 chopped onions, and I'm adding tomatoes now. So you can go ahead and use just one onion or one tomato. Here I've used 2. So to know if your tomato is cooked, that usually takes a little longer. So to know that if it's cooked, you'll see that it gets mushy after a while. That's when you know that it's cooked. So now I'm going to add salt to quicken this process. You can increase the heat a little. And also make sure that the water from the tomatoes evaporate, because tomatoes tend to release a lot of water. Make sure that it evaporates. And for people who have any questions, please hold your questions. I'll be answering them by the end of the session. Make sure you mix it really well, and make sure your tomatoes are cooked well. Usually tomatoes take a little longer to cook. So now you can see that the tomatoes have become a little mushy. So now I'll be adding the next ingredient, which is the ginger garlic paste. So the ginger garlic paste, I've not made it a complete paste. I have it a little coarse because I like to have a little bite when I eat my cutlet. So after you add the ginger garlic paste, after a minute, you see that there's browning under the pan. That's when you know that your ginger garlic paste is cooking. So when it starts to brown, when your pan starts to brown, make sure you scrape it properly and then continue to cook. make sure the raw flavor of the ginger garlic paste goes, and that's another way to find out if your ginger garlic paste is cooked. So sometimes if you added a little less oil, you'll see that the ginger garlic paste keeps sticking down below, and if you're not able to scrape it out, then go ahead and add 2 to 3 tablespoons of water, which will remove the bottom burner. So as you can see, it's starting to stick below. That's when I know that my ginger garlic paste is cooked. Starting to stick now. I'm going to reduce the heat a little bit. And add in all the masalas. So here I have the sambar powder. I've measured it. So I'm using the entire ones. Coriander powder. Garam masala. Cumin powder, chili powder, some turmeric powder, some pepper powder. I've reduced the pepper powder because I've added chili powder extra. So if you want to skip pepper powder, you can skip, but according to your requirement, add chili powder to it. So mix them really well. Add salt. Increase the heat and add and mix it well. So even this, make sure you cook it really well until the raw flavor goes. And another way to see if your masalas are cooked is you'll see that after a while this part of the recipe will start oozing out oil. That's when you know that your masalas are cooked well. And only when it starts to ooze out oil, you should add the next ingredient. So now, like I told you, you can add some water. To remove the garlic. So today is the last day of the 7-day 7 alumni live session. We all as a team hope you all enjoyed it and hope that we were able to share some of our experiences with you all and help you all with your lockdown days. Stay tuned for next week as our chefs are coming up with really amazing recipes. I can see that the oil now is oozing out. So I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken. So this chicken that I've used here is boneless chicken, which I blended it in the mixer. So for people, those who get ready-made chicken mince, I suggest you'll again go ahead and mince it in your mixers again. Only when it's completely minced, you'll be able to shape it well, and it's easier for you to shape it. Make sure you cut through the meat. And make sure that the meat is well combined with the masala. Don't worry about the bottom if it starts sticking, because the chicken is anyway going to give out some water, and so that burnt masala is going to go. It's not burnt, but it's just stuck below. So once the chicken gives out the water, it's going to go. Or even if not, the next step is anyway adding water so that the chicken boils and cooks well. So at that step, it's still going to cook. So don't think it's burnt, it's just the masala that's stuck below. So once your chicken is cooked 1/4, you can go ahead and add water, because you make sure your chicken cooks in this stage, because while you fry, your meat is not going to cook. While frying, you're just going to cook the breadcrumbs. So make sure your meat is well cooked at this stage. So this video is going to be put up in the Academy page on Instagram for 24 hours. Any questions, you can DM me directly or to the Academy page. And it will soon be put up on YouTube, so you can go check. So now the meat is cooked to 1/4, and I'm going to go ahead and add water. Mix it well. So like I told you all, you can see that now the masalas from the bottom has gone. Now you just have to cook the chicken until the water evaporates. So keep it on a medium flame. When you keep it on a high flame, then the water's only going to evaporate. It's not going to help the meat cook. So keep it at a medium flame, let it simmer. To make sure the entire water eventually evaporates while it cooks the meat. Just let it simmer. You can also cover it up with a plate so it can cook, or you can just keep mixing it. So for people who are vegetarians, you all can use mixed vegetables. I wouldn't suggest paneer. You can use vegetables. You can increase the amount of potato, and you can use carrot, beans, whichever you prefer. Now the water's almost evaporated, just a little bit more. And again, I'm reminding you all, make sure you all blend your chicken before you all use. Blend it really well. Even if you all have your readily available minced chicken, go ahead and beat it once more in the mixer. So it's easy for you all to shape it. Now it may look, this texture may look like you won't be able to shape it, but the potatoes that we are using, that's the main purpose of the potato, is so that you're able to hold the shape of the cutlet. And when you fry it, the potato makes sure that the cutlet doesn't break. Some more water to evaporate. So I'm going to let this evaporate a little more. And I'm going to be showing you a minced meat that I already made. This is how it's going to look once it's cooled down. But I've already mixed this with potato. So this is how it's going to look after it's cooled down. And now I've kept that mixture in the chiller overnight, so that it's again easier for you to shape. So when you add your potato, which is the next step, when you add the potato, make sure that this chicken mixture is cooled down completely. And if you feel that either any of the masala or salt is less, please go ahead and do it in this stage and mix it really well. And if you're doing that, make sure that you keep mixing even after the water evaporates, so that you don't get the raw masala flavor later. So now you can see that the water is evaporated. Water is evaporated well. If you're not sure if your chicken is cooked, please go ahead and taste and eat a little, have a bite. And if you think it's still not cooked and you need to cook it for some more time, then go ahead, add some water and keep mixing it until the water evaporates. So now I'm going to be heating the oil for frying. Keep it at medium flame. Okay, so this is completely cooked, and I'm going to be cooling this down. So here I have the oil for frying. Keep it at a medium heat and make sure it's really hot. Okay. So let me clear the station. So as I told you all, this is the mixture that I used yesterday, that I made yesterday, and I've already added the cooled potatoes and mixed it with it and kept it in the chiller overnight. It's not necessary you'll keep it in the chiller, but it's preferable to keep it in the chiller. So again, this one I made these 4 balls are made with this mixture that I made yesterday, and I kept it in the fridge overnight. Now you can see it's a little soggy, but it's okay. Eventually it will get soggy when you keep it in the chiller. So while using it, make sure it's cool a little, thaw it for some time, maybe 10 minutes, and then roll it back again in the breadcrumbs. So you have a crispy outer layer. You can go ahead and shape it in whichever shape. So make sure you do it. So whichever shape it is, make sure it's firm. So in half kg chicken that I've used, you will, if you make these shapes, you will get about 20 cutlets. So I'm just going to make 3 to show it to you all. So these ones that I made yesterday, because I kept it in the chiller, it looks a little bit soggy. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it again in the breadcrumbs. This has already been rolled with breadcrumbs. It's already been into the egg white, whole eggs, and into the breadcrumbs, which I made yesterday. So when I kept in the fridge overnight, obviously it tends to get soggy. So again, I'm going ahead and rolling it only over the breadcrumbs. So make sure every bit of it is completely coated with breadcrumbs. You all can even season the breadcrumbs if you want. If you don't have breadcrumbs which is directly available, then you can dry the bread and beat it in the mixer, or you can use the rusk. So this is yesterday's. This is the one that I made today. So for this, I'm going to be rolling it over the egg wash. It's just it's just one whole egg. Roll it well and place it. Now go ahead. I like to roll the plate first, so that if you use your hand, then the egg wash is going to stick to your hand. So once it's slightly coated, then use your fingers. And placing it back here. So these 4 are the cool ones from yesterday, and this one's from today. So let me show just two from today's batch and 2 from yesterday's batch. So the oil is hot enough, and I'm using yesterday's. Just add 2 to 3 maximum and not more than that, because then it's too much, and then the oil doesn't heat properly, and also the cutlet tends to break. So the color that you're looking for is golden brown to a little more than that. A little darker than golden brown. Again, in this process, the whole point is cooking only the breadcrumbs. So while moving it, make sure that you don't break it. Be really careful. So for vegetarians, instead of egg wash, you can use slurry, which is corn flour and water. And for breadcrumbs, you can go ahead and season it with parsley, with dried parsley. So it's not necessary after you shape it and after you cover it with breadcrumbs, it's not necessary you have to keep it overnight in the fridge. But if you want to make it and keep it, you can. You can just keep them in the freezer for maybe a week, and when required, when there are guests, you can just thaw it for 20 minutes. Again, use breadcrumbs, roll it over the breadcrumbs, cover it well, and then serve it hot. So this was yesterday's, and this is today's, which I just covered. each time you add in the balls, make sure your oil is hot. So while it's getting heated up, I'm going to check on the batch that I made today, if it's cooled down. So here we have the cooled mixture. It's cooled now. So I'll show you all what to do after this. So back to this. You can also double coat it after tossing it in the breadcrumbs, after rolling them. Again, you can do the same process. Again, put them back into the egg, cover it, and then into the breadcrumbs. Make sure it's well coated, and then you can fry it. What I usually do and what I prefer is that after you cover your meat with the breadcrumbs, I prefer you keep it in the fridge overnight and then use it. That's what I prefer, but it's up to you all. You can still do it. So you will see a little bit of difference with the coatings. This was yesterday's, these three were yesterday's coating, and this was today's coating. But the meat that I cooked yesterday is this one, and then I coated. So today we have the meat that I cooked. It's cooled down completely. And now add in the mashed potato. So the main purpose of mashed potato is that it holds the shape of the meat. Make sure you mix it really well. So as you can see that this is mixed with potato and this is not mixed with potato. So you can see the difference right now, that it's already holding its shape. So that's the main purpose of potato. So mix it well. So you can go ahead and keep this in the fridge if you want to, and then use it tomorrow or half an hour to 1 hour later, or you can use it directly. So I'm going to be shaping it. It's always better, again, it's always better to keep it in the fridge. So here I'm just doing 2. So when you do this, if you why I'm saying that it's preferred to keep it in the fridge is that sometimes if you don't keep it in the fridge and you do it right now like this, what I'm doing, it tends to break. So it's always better to keep it in the fridge. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it in the egg. Like I said, I like to move this instead of getting my hands dirty. And then just roll it well. So I'm going to heat up the pan once again. Oil is still hot. Make sure you're very careful when moving this because it can break very easily. And also this meat mixture that we made today, you can go ahead and eat it right away instead of making it a cutlet, or you can use it for samosa and even for sandwich. Let me present. So the cutlet is going to go well with any sauce like ketchup. So you're done now. Just a little bit more cooking. So while this is cooking, I'm going to open and show one how it is inside. Here you have make sure your oil is in medium flame, not too hot. So you can now start asking me questions. This is done, and I'll show you the last presentation. You can start asking me questions. And please make sure when you add in the next batch, your oil is hot. You can shape it however you want it. So here you have the hot chicken cutlet ready to serve. Add this back here, and here you have so please go ahead and ask me questions. So today I made chicken cutlet. So Lee, you will be able to see this recipe again. It's going to be in the Academy page for 24 hours. And if you have any questions, please DM. So someone has asked me how did I make the sambar powder. I got the ready-made sambar powder. So what kind of sauces would I recommend with this? I would recommend ketchup. If you like Southwest, you can go with that. Mayonnaise. It's according to your preference. So for this recipe, the 500 grams of chicken, you will get about 20 cutlets, and the shape that I've made here, according to this shape, you're going to get 20. So if you're making this in these shapes, then you're going to get 20. I added 2 potatoes. You can add 1 or you can add 2. Yeah, if you want to add chaat masala, you can go ahead, Niran. Yeah, you want to substitute sambar powder. Instead of sambar powder, you can go ahead with extra chili powder. If not, you don't have to add them. So the alternate meat or seafood, I don't recommend seafood. I think mutton will go really well. So any more questions? Yeah, you can use mashed gobi, but not just mashed gobi, you can add few more vegetables to it. So today is the last day of the 7-day 7 alumni live session. Hope all of you all had a really good time, and hope we were able to share our experience and some of our knowledge to you all. Please support and let us know so we can come up with more live such videos. So like I told, chilling overnight, there are 3 steps, like 3 ways you can do it. One, as soon as you finish cooking the meat and you mix it with the potato, which is this. So you can go ahead and cool this up overnight. If not, you can continue with it. This is one. And one more, after this step, I tossed it in the in egg and then on the breadcrumbs. So after that step, you can go ahead again and chill it overnight. If not, use it directly. If not, just do like I did today. Make the entire process and then immediately toss it into the oil. It's not necessary, but yeah, you can do it. The correct shape, thank you. And it's all practice, and I think you'll get it. This is just a simple shape. So I'll be live for another 2 minutes and then I'm shutting the video because it's going to be more than an hour now and the video will automatically shut. So 2 more minutes, and any more questions, please shoot. WhatsApp number, you have my WhatsApp number. You can go ahead and ask me more doubts. If not, message the Academy page or my Instagram page personally. So last 2 questions that I'll be answering. If anybody has, please shoot. Okay, so I don't think anybody else have any queries. If you all have, please direct message the Academy's page or my personal page, and I'm more than happy to answer. And also stay tuned for next week's live sessions, because it's going to be all our chefs and there are really good recipes coming up, and I'm sure all of you are going to enjoy. Okay, I'm ending the live video now. Thank you and hope you'll enjoy today's session.